Hello and welcome back. Sean here, Mountains Garage. I'm in Studio B this morning, B for box. And it was a handy place, almost 2 weeks ago now, to drop off this destroyed Tremec box and now this morning unpack my new to me TKX 5-speed transmission. My buddy who posted it on Facebook, he wanted to post it to his friends before he posted it on Marketplace and had to deal with all that. Also, sidebar before I get going, if I have to stop, I'm going to have to walk up and touch the back of my phone because I left my clicker in the shop and I decided just to go for it. So anyway, I instantly responded and it was an excellent deal. He also has a brand new clutch and flywheel that I think I'm going to go back for. It's a twin disc, but it has a diaphragm pressure plate, so why not? So anyway, he bought it just for this project. So he listed it. I know they make 3 different models ratio-wise, and I didn't care what I got. Out of the 3, there's one my mind wanted, and your options are what they call a wide ratio. Has like a 320 first gear, don't quote me on that. Even the paperwork that comes with the transmission doesn't give you the ratios. You gotta look it up online. But after I agreed to buy it, I just looked at the available ratios. I knew I'd be happy with whatever I got. However, I got lucky, this is the one I wanted. So anyway, what they call the wide ratio with a super deep first gear, kind of like the Doug Nash 4+1 5-speed that I have mocked up in the 56 Chevy station wagon. With that lower first gear, you run like a 270 to 3.0 rear end gear. And in the Doug Nash 4+1 5-speed, high gear is still 1-to-1, but you have such a high rear end ratio that you're turning low RPMs at highway speed. So if you combine what they call the wide ratio transmission, the 320, whatever, I should look it up. But with a high rear end gear, man, that's high ratio, not high numerically. People get that swapped. I consider high numerically would be a set of 513s, but you're not going to go on the highway with those. So the lower the number, the more highway friendly it is for rear end gears. So they consider the wide ratio, what they call the close ratio, is still at 2.87 first gear. Now to put that in perspective, let's compare it to a Muncie or a Borg-Warner Super T10 like I'm putting in the Willys project. That's a wide ratio, and it's 2.64 first gear. Muncie is like 2.52 is the wide ratio, the M20, and in GM lore, you couldn't order the M21 or the M22 close ratio, which is a 0.220 first gear, really high, without having a 3.73 rear gear or lower, performance-wise, not numerically. That does get confusing, doesn't it, when you're rattling it off. However, this is, let me read them off, I just looked it up. The part number of my transmission, which is on the tag right there, is a TCET 17805, and that gives me a 287 first gear, so it's the close ratio, 1.89 second, 1.28 third, fourth gear is 1-to-1, overdrive is the one I was hoping for, 0.68. That is significant. I don't care if there's a giant drop in RPM, that's what I want. They make a 0.80 something overdrive why bother? I'm just kidding, but you know, if you're gonna have overdrive, I want it deep, allowing me to run a 410 would be fine, even a 430, even a 456 or whatever, depends on the style we're in, what the number is, but, and you can still cruise on the highway and accelerate really well. So that's awesome. It wasn't on my radar to buy one. I've always wanted one. My Street 55 has a TKO 600. My Roadster pickup project has a TKO 500. I've never driven the pickup, but I drove the 55 plenty, and that had 411 gears, and in overdrive, it was perfect. Riding around in fourth gear, and with 410s, it reminds you pretty quick about the old days, how it used to be without overdrive. So, it's funny, let me sidebar a little on overdrive. I mean, in the 50s, they were experimenting with overdrive. I know I went for riding a 55 or so T-Bird one night, and it had another level for overdrive. So we completely abandoned it for a while during the muscle car craze, and it was pretty normal for people to buy, you know, a muscle car with a pretty low numerically rear end ratio for acceleration, and the heck with the rest of it. And then of course, in the early 70s, we had the first gas crunch, real or imagined, I don't know. It happened, and that affected everything. Emissions came along, and it was a long while, early 80s, before the OEMs decided to experiment with overdrive again. So I'm glad they did, because I love the 480E. If I'm having an automatic transmission overdrive, I want a 480E. And that's just about it. So anyway, I bought this, and its destination I'm not sure of yet. Because like I mentioned, the 56 wagon, I got it all mocked up with the Doug Nash 4+1. I was kind of excited. I have a 315 geared 9-inch Ford. It's actually a rim polished NASCAR ring and pinion I got. And I think that'd make a good combo. So I'll probably stick with it. This, we'll see. I mean, I can put it in the Willys, but I already made a special shifter for the T10 to put in that. If you go back about a year ago in the videos, not quite a year, I made some linkage that went down underneath to miss the floorboard, and kind of excited for that project. So the beauty around here, I got plenty of projects, so it'll find a home. And when it does, it was, I don't care to move this table too much, let me move. I'll move you too, how's that? There's my destroyed box. You should try moving around a transmission that's pretty heavy in a box that's falling apart. All right. This bell housing is a McLeod, I believe that's how you pronounce it. MCL, excuse me, capital M, small c, capital L, EAOD. I believe it's McLeod, McLeod. These were great bell housings. They stopped producing them around, this is about the end right here, 2012. I have one almost identical to this in my Model A Roadster pickup with the TKO 500 that I mentioned a few minutes ago. I bought it when they were still available. They were less money than a Lakewood by a long shot. Very similar in a lot of ways. I love the gold iridation, or whatever you call it. But this one my brother had is the next level, if you will. Because of this interchangeable ring, he had a project that he was going to retrofit a Ford top loader to a small block Chevy. So this bell housing with this ring, this fits a Ford transmission. Well, with a Ford transmission, you got to know what the builder's uncle's cousin had for breakfast that morning to determine which transmission fits which one. I've never seen such a convoluted process. Chrysler's right behind them. They had transmission models for different body styles for fitment, I suppose. With GM, they all kind of just fit. But I guess that's what I like about them. So anyway, with this ring, it fits on the bearing retainer of a Ford top loader, or probably other Ford transmissions. Because Ford used the T10 as well, but with this set, the black set of bolts, that'd be the Ford pattern, top loader pattern. And I believe some of the early Jericos were that way too, because the Jericho racing transmission, which I believe Jericho's just went out of business last year, they're basically based on a Ford top loader. So with that, it was set up for a top loader. And that's the way I bought it for my brother, just like that. The GM ring, now, I thought I might be stuck machining this by myself, and while it wouldn't be particularly hard, it's gonna be a lot of chips. You're gonna start out with a ring of metal and you gotta take the whole center out. You know, it would be a challenge, but you know, machining challenges. I'm still a rookie machinist and I like making stuff, so I can teach myself how to do it better, or as they say down south, gooder. Not just down south. I don't want to pick on the southern people, I love you. So with the silver bolts, that's the traditional GM, Muncie, T10, any GM manual transmission. If you want to put a truck transmission, it takes a bigger center, but yeah, lots of options. The bolt pattern never changed. But even with GM, the center hole changed for the truck transmission, it was bigger. So last produced in 2012, I went ahead and bought the bell housing for my brother, got a great deal. It's never been used, if you will. He might have mocked it up, but this is as far as it's been. It has a block plate, all these cool Allen bolts and stuff to put it together. So it was a great deal. I got it home and decided, why not? Let's call McLeod and see what they say. I had done a little research ahead of time, and this thing had a pot number, which is in the shop, so it's still out there online if you need to figure it out. But I called him up and say, hey, I think this is what I need. I have this bell housing and I have the need for this. And he said, because everywhere I found the pot number, I looked at all the normal jigs, Summit, etc., and it said it might ship in September of this year. So I called McLeod, he said, yeah, I got one right in stock. And he also sold it to me for the same price I found on jigs and Summit, etc. So you can't beat that. So obviously these have a price. With shipping, I'd say it was like 60 bucks. I mean, if this was 1950, that'd be expensive, but in 2026, August of 2026, that's probably a pretty good deal. And it fits the bearing retainer, it fits the bell housing, and we're off to the races. I actually have to shine it up a little bit, but it does fit. Just a little tight for my liking, so I'm just gonna clean it up. This one drops right in. Let's see if I can even get that back. This has a couple burrs for shipping, so a little Scotch-Brite, it'll be fine. So that's my story today. I like that this box was available for me to quickly throw something in, but I gotta avoid that. This is for sheet metal tools, etc. Maybe park a vehicle on this end if I have to. Or I may bring more tools out here, just occupy the whole space. Maybe a bench or two more, and a toolbox, because a lot of times I'm on this end of the yard, and if I need anything, I gotta walk back to the shop. If I'm gonna be working in here, having a toolbox in here wouldn't be a bad idea, so it's probably gonna happen. I got enough spare tools, don't we all, that I can throw together a quick toolbox just for this box. So my point being, I need to, the box's history, I'm going to take it to the transfer station today. And my transmission, I ordered the yoke last night. It takes a Ford C6 yoke, 31 spline. I ordered a 1350 U-joint, Ford C6 yoke. Again, shopped it up online. I buy a lot of stuff from Driveline warehouse, and they were the cheapest, even with shipping. Still a $55 yoke, but I only bought the cast one because this is not, an application where I'm probably going to be, putting big slicks on it, and I need a forged or chrome moly yoke. I think the cast yoke in the 1350 joint will be just fine because it's going to be a street type vehicle. But that is a concern. A lot of people kind of put their head in the sand when it comes to drive shafts. I've done a few videos on them. It's probably time to talk about it again. There's been a lot of, depending on what channels you watch, automotive related, some issues with critical speed on drive shafts exploding, and it's a pretty simple chart to figure it out. There's a lot of variables, but anyway. Have a great day. It's sunny out, and I'm kind of testing my box placement. Not that I can move the big ones here. I've committed to 3 40-footers next to each other, and I'm learning to live with them here. And so far, I can still back my trailer around it and everything. I can drive down in with my trailer, back it up, car trailer with my Suburban, and I can pull right back out. Where I used to drive right through here, now I can just, steer a little more and still get in and out, just from being lazy and wanting to drive down in instead of backing in. So, and if I didn't have so much stuff in the way, I could actually come in and spin around my rock cropping that sticks out of the ground. So because I'm getting used to them, they're in the shade in the morning. It's getting pretty warm out in the sun. It's going to be warm the next few days. It's probably 10:30 in the morning right now, and I'm perfectly comfortable in here. It's nice. And I'm also going to get a dedicated fan to put in here when you're working. But all in all, it's kind of nice. So enjoy your day. I got to again walk around and shut you off. I've talked non-stop now for 10 minutes or more. And that is my latest acquisition. Well, it was 2 weeks ago, but literally they happened, I want to say the same day or days apart. I was going to buy one or the other, and I ended up with a combo. And this transmission, the shipping date on the box is 2022, which means it's already out of warranty. But that wasn't a concern anyway. It's an excellent transmission. Oh, more of the accolades for it. The reason why it's better than the TKO series, they claim, is the TKO got a little clunky shifting much after 4,500 or so. This is supposed to shift cleanly at 7,500 and maybe even 8,000. It says 8,000 RPM range, clean shifts at 7,500. So spinning a typical motor 7,500 is probably beyond its power band anyway. So, street motor, well beyond. Anyway, have a great day, and wait, we're not quite done. I don't know if you can still see the TKO. Let me spin you around. I'm sorry, TKX. I think it's cool to give you a neutral start switch. I've never had a manual transmission that you had to put neutral to start. But I would prefer that if you had to have one or wanted one than pushing in the clutch. A lot of your famous drag race engine builders, Warren Johnson, etc., would not push in the clutch and hit the starter. They claimed it was hard on the thrust bearing. They would start it in neutral or in gear, believe it or not. This is electronic speedometer connection. On this side, I'm scared of this table. This is backup light switch. They make a plug that pops over, or those are threaded, so you can just put nuts on it. And you can have a mechanical Ford style end speedometer cable, but probably that's going to remain plugged. It comes plugged, it's going to stay that way. You got a vent. You can have the shifter here or here. Here or here by flipping it around, and they make a kit to put it up here if you need to, but you can literally unbolt this, turn it around, and have this here. So that's pretty cool. And now it's done. Good talking with you. Take it easy.